Good morning, all. Thank you. Good morning, all. I am Dr. Chioma Ochieze, an MPH. Just concluded my MPH with Texas American University. I'm here to present on the prevalence of obesity among adolescents in Obio-Akpor local government area of Rivers State. To start with, I want to bring to the know of all of us that what actually drew my interest to carry out this research was the number of adolescents I see at the clinic where I work, that are obese. And I was like, I used to think this thing used to be a Western disease, a Western condition. Why is it becoming, so common in Nigeria here with us? The one that baffled me the most was a 15-year-old child who was obese, diabetic, and as well hypertensive. So that got me thinking, okay, why not go into this research? The study was actually this cross-sectional, descriptive cross-sectional study in Obio-Akpor local government area, and it was a tasking one, having to go to secondary schools to get weights and heights and calculate weights and height and share questionnaires and retrieve as well. So to start, WHO has defined obesity as a condition where there's an abnormal accumulation of excess fats in adipose tissue that leads to an impairment of health. Like I earlier said, obesity used to be a Western condition, but over time we are beginning to find it amongst the developing countries as well. You know, in it's been found out that there's a study, or there's a WHO is forecasting that in the near centuries, probably in the year 2020, it's going to cause about 70% of deaths. Chronic obesity leading to chronic illnesses, causing 70% of deaths amongst those that were dead about that time. So I also want to bring to the know that obesity and overweight is actually a cause of chronic illnesses like hypertension, diabetes, hyperlipidemia, lots of conditions that we find among the elderly. It's no longer an elderly thing. It's something that starts even in childhood and it grows into it. Okay, like I was saying earlier, obesity in childhood is a risk factor to obesity later in life, cardiovascular diseases, hyperlipidemia, diabetes, and a long list of chronic illnesses, which by 2020, as forecasted by WHO, will be the cause of 70% of deaths. Now, obesity used to be a Western condition, but it's gradually becoming a global problem, especially with the developing countries, of which Nigeria is one. Childhood obesity is also a cause of a lot. To back up this study I embarked on, I carried out, I used a theoretical framework by Yuri, which was by Yuri by So I went into the field based on the division of the local government area into 13 zones. So I selected on 3 zonal intervals and eventually settled for 4 zones, from which I selected one secondary school each that I selected 100 students each from, on the basis of one class interval, and eventually got my sample size of 100 or 400, sorry, which was calculated from the formula, the Cochrane's formula. Okay, so I went about sharing questionnaires. On the questionnaire was divided into 3 sessions. The first was on their social demographic features, including their age, sex, parental occupation, and the rest of that. Then the second section was on their level of physical activity. Those of them that walk to school, those that are being driven to school, those that are being picked up by school buses, those that are involved in school activities, if they go out to during break time to actually carry out some physical exercises, or they just sit back in class and eat and still sit back in class to continue with their lesson. Or then after school, they get back home. Do they get themselves involved in physical activities, or do they go about sitting in front of their computers playing computer games or watching movies while taking carbonated drinks and snacks and all that? So I arrived at my results, which gave me a shock. It was a shock, actually. I didn't get what I was anticipating. There was actually more of a prevalence of normal weight adolescents as against the obese or overweight ones I anticipated. And based on their social demographic characteristics, was discovered that 138 of the respondents were males, while 262 were females. And those aged 10 to 14 were just about 59.7% of the population, and 40.3% were between 15 to 19. That would take me back to the age range I worked with. According to WHO, adolescents are those aged from 10 to 19. So any other students that were not within this age range were not selected for the study. Now, we also found out that I would have loved to share my graphs. I don't know why my page is not moving. So on my bar chart, we have 171 of them were underweight, 203 were normal, while just 22 were overweight and 4 were obese. So found out that most of them were not so much into eating fatty foods and carbonated drinks. Among those who were obese, the main issues they were having were taking lots of carbohydrate meals and exercise. They were practicing sedentary lifestyles, having to sit for a long time watching movies and all that. So eventually, this obesity is known to be a major modifiable risk of many non-communicable diseases, including hypertension, diabetes mellitus, and other CVD. Because these diseases are seen mostly among the elderly, focus is mainly on the elderly with little attention to address the risk factors such as obesity, which are developed at young age and are important predictor of future epidemic of the disease. The study of prevalence of obesity and obesity among adolescents helps to unmask the extent to which young people are at risk of developing some of these diseases at present and in the future. The study actually
Yeah, Miss
demonstrates
Chioma.
a striking
Miss
prevalence of
Chioma.
5.5%
Yeah. Thanks for your
and 42.8.
presentation. The time is up.
Hello?
So it was a wonderful
Yes.
presentation.